last fire will rise. The last fire will rise behind those eyes. Black house will rock. Blind boys don't lie. Immortal fear. That voice so clear.
Hello YouTubers. So as is often the case with me, when I'm talking about a topic that I like, I have a hard time getting myself to shut up and I talk for way too long. So recently I did an episode about how much I miss ECW. And when I started to cut the episode together, it was really way too long, and you know, in the end, it's still a lot longer than I was hoping. But so I started cutting out parts of it that I didn't quite, you know, I didn't quite need as much. And I actually kind of thought that one of the parts made for sort of a good Flames episode. So you can call this kind of a Flames episode. I'm going to cut it together with this, and you know, so make it into sort of a Flames episode. So today's Flames episode is about something that always used to bother me about WWE back in the day when, you know, when ECW was around. From time to time they'd bring in ECW talent, but it seemed like Vince McMahon and the WWE, they never had, they never saw anything in anything that wasn't their own homegrown talent. So they never really used ECW talent or, you know, other talent, people that I liked, to, you know, to the best that they really should have been used. I always was kind of disappointed when Taz came to WWE that they never did anything really with him. I was glad when he got on commentary, because at least that was something. But, you know, I feel like with a lot of the ECW guys, WWE really missed the boat. You know, I understand that not everybody can be at the top, you know, but Taz could have been so much more. You know, he could have been like Intercontinental Champion multiple times over, and they just never really took a chance and ran with him. Because, you know, ECW just showed exactly how, you know, if you push a guy right, I mean, anybody could be great, can be big. So, you know, it wasn't just Taz. I was also a huge fan of Raven, and, you know, I thought there was so much more that he could offer than what the WWE gave him. You know, and again, it's like I said, I know that not everybody can be at the top, so, you know, I would have liked to have seen Raven as WWE Champion, but maybe that wasn't going to happen, okay. But at least he could have been, you know, Intercontinental Champion, he could have been Tag Team Champion, the European title was around at the time, he could have been European Champion. I mean, he was 26-time Hardcore Champion, you know, because of the whole 24/7 rule, but, that was the only time they really ran with him, and that was cool, but, you know, they just really never used him to what they could. When it comes to, you know, some of the ECW guys, even Rob Van Dam. Eventually, Rob Van Dam did get a push. He, you know, won the ECW title when they brought ECW back. He won the WWE title, and, you know, he screwed up his own run. But even before that, you know, they always kept Rob Van Dam, you know, just out of the top. He at least got a good push. I mean, he was, you know, multiple-time Intercontinental Champion. I think he may have held the European Championship. You know, Tag Team Champion. So he at least got something of a push, but the thing was, you know, fans were clamoring for him to get that push to the top, and it really just never came until it was kind of too late. And, you know, I mean, it was cool when he finally got it, and then he screwed it up, so that's a different story. But, you know, for the longest time, you know, it was due. It was time for Rob Van Dam to get that push, and it just didn't come. The other guys were the Dudley Boys. WWE, you know, they really needed some tag teams at the time, so they kind of didn't have a choice. They had to push the Dudleys, but, I mean, they really made it work. It was awesome. The Dudleys were great in WWE. So those were really the only, like, ECW guys that got a push. You know, WWE really just they never push guys. It's almost like a cocky thing. They don't push guys unless it's their own homegrown talent. That kind of always used to tick me off. Oh, and I don't know how I could forget to mention Tommy Dreamer. I mean, how do you have such a undyingly loyal employee? I mean, loyal to ECW literally up until its dying day, and, you know, unfailingly loyal to WWE once he was there. How can you have such a loyal guy and literally do nothing with him? It's just, honestly, it's a shame. Tommy Dreamer could have been just, you know, so much best. I mean, he's a guy who can really get the crowd behind him. how can you not do something with a guy like that? I mean, you're talking about some guys that are pretty, pretty damn talented. ECW obviously was able to make, big stars out of them, and that was a strength ECW always had. They could make a star out of anybody. Even a guy like Mick Foley comes over, he's been Cactus Jack all his life. They turn him into Mankind. And, that eventually ended up being really awesome, and then, Mick Foley became huge. But, it just goes to show you that WWE, they feel like they've got to make everything their creation, or it's not worthwhile. So, if you're a wrestling fan, feel free to leave comments. Is this a frustration you have with WWE as well? Or any other comments you may have about the old ECW, or, when WWE tried to bring ECW back. Okay, thank you, YouTubers. Have a nice day.
Change